Hello, this is a video for slope intercept form. Okay, so we're going to be working out of our Algebra 1 books. So go ahead and turn to page 175. We're going to start with working on a problem in context. So when a diver descends in a lake or ocean, pressure is produced by the weight of the water on the diver. As the diver swims deeper into the water, the pressure on the diver's body increases at a rate of about 1 atmosphere of pressure per 10 meters of depth. So the table and the graph below represent the total pressure Y on the diver given the depth X underwater in meters. Okay, so we start here at 0 meters and we already have 1 atmosphere of pressure. So as you go from 0 to 1 meter, so for every meter you can see that it goes up 0.1 atm or 1 or point or 1/10 of an atmosphere of pressure. Okay, so we're going to see that right now. So on page 175, write an equation describing the relationship between the pressure exerted on the diver and the diver's depth in the water. So let me zoom in. Here we go. All right, so we've practiced how to find these y-intercepts and the slopes for a little bit in our warm-up. So we're going to continue that here. So let's find, for example, let's just write down, we have our formula, which is slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, where b is the y-intercept and m is our slope. And we can find that from both the table and the graph. Okay, so for example, where is our y-intercept? Well, it's right here. It's when x is 0. So when x is 0, y is a positive 1. So next, we need to find our m, our slope. Okay, so it's kind of hard to get that from this graph. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose 2 points on the table. I'm going to put the first 2 points, and we know that our m, our slope, is our change of y over our change of x. Okay, so we're going to start with our y. So we're going to do 1 minus 1.1, and I'm calling this 0.2 and 0.1 because it is y2 minus y1. And down below we have x2 minus x1. So our x2 is 0 minus 1. So here we get negative 0.1 over negative 1, which just gives us 0.1. So that is our slope, 0.1. So there is our formula, or our equation. We have y equals 0.1x plus 1. Okay, so we came up with a formula just finding the y-intercept and our slope. Okay, so you can pick any other points and check to make sure that is correct. All right, so it says, what is the slope of the line? What are the units of the slope? Okay, our slope of a line, our slope here is 0.1, and that was our change of y over our change of x, right? But what is our change of y? Our y is our pressure over our change of x, which is our depth. And that is, our units are our ATM over our meters, okay? So that means for every 1 meter increase, okay, that means our ATM, our pressure, increases by 0.1, okay? So what is the y-intercept? And explain its meaning in context. So our y-intercept is 1, and that means we haven't gone any meters, right? So we discussed this. Our y-intercept is 1, which is when x is 0, y is 1, and that means the amount of pressure So our amount of pressure that our diver begins with. So that means our diver began at 0 meters and had 1 ATM. All right. So our big concept here is our form, our slope-intercept form. Okay, which is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b represents the y-intercept, 0, comma b. All right, so let's try this one. Find the slope, which is m, and our y-intercept, which is considered b, right? Y equals mx plus b. So here our m is -2, and our b is 9. And our b is 9. So that means it crosses, we have our ordered pair at 0, 9. And this means we have a negative slope. So it is decreasing. All right, so we're going to create a table of values. So we're plugging in these values here to get our y points or our outputs. Okay, so I'm just going to do the first two, and then you can fill in the rest. Plus 9. Okay, so our first point is at -2. So here we have 4 plus 9, which is 13. And our next one is -2 times 0 plus 9, which is just 0 plus 9. All right, and then if we plug in the rest, we get 5, 1, and -1. Okay, so let's graph that. Okay, so our first one is -2, 13, which is right here. 0, 9, 2, 5, 1, 4, 1, and 5, -1. So I'm going to try my best to do a straight line here. Okay, so that is our graph. Explain how to find the value of the slope from a table. So how do we find the slope from a table if we want to find the slope? Okay, so we would pick 2 points on the table. So let's say I pick these two. Actually, no, I'm going to pick these two. You can pick any two. All right, so how do you find the slope from a table? So you choose 2 points. And all you do is a change of y over the change of x formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's a 1. Let's call this point 2, call this point 1. So I do 9 minus 5 for my x. For my y. For my x, it's 0 minus 2. So here I get 4, -2, which is just -2, which is what we're looking for, right? Our slope is -2. Okay, so that's how you find the slope on a table. Okay, next it says explain how you find the y-intercept from a table. So remember our y-intercept is when x is 0, right? So we look for that at the table. So we go to our table. When do we have x equals 0? It's here. So it's basically when x equals 0. So we have 0, 9, and this would be our y-intercept. Explain how you would find the value of a slope from a graph. Okay, so if we had our graph here, it's similar to you find 2 points. Like for example, I could use these 2 points right here. So I choose 2 points. And then I find the change of y over the change of x. So I can count those, right? So let's see, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So down 4 for my change of y. My run or my change of x is 2, right? 1, 2. So here I have -2, which is indeed my slope. Okay, explain how to find the y-intercept from a graph. What is the y-intercept? So that is when it crosses the y-axis, right? And we went over this in class. So that's when it crosses the y-axis. So let's look at the graph and find out where it crosses the y-axis right here. And that is 0.09. And our 9 is our y-intercept. All right, so far so good. Remember, if you need to pause to write this down in your notes or in your book. All right, so remember we're doing a y-intercept form or slope-intercept form, sorry. Y equals mx plus b, where b is our y-intercept and our m is our slope. All right, so here it says what are the slope and y-intercept of the line described by y equals -4/5, x minus 10. So remember, this is our m, which is our slope. So our slope is -4/5. And our y-intercept is right here. It's not in plus, so our y-intercept is actually -10. All right, so far so good. So number 11 says, write the equation in slope-intercept form of the line that represents by the data in the table. All right, so this right here, remember, how do we find the y-intercept from a table? That's when x is 0. So here we have y equals mx plus b. Our y-intercept here is 5, and that's a +5. And now we have to find the slope. So we have to choose 2 points, and I'm going to pick these 2 points. So 0, 5, and 1, 3. So I got to do the change of y. So I could do 5 take away 3. And I keep the same order. If I start here, I got to do 0 minus 1. So this would give us a 5 take away 3 is 2. This is -1, so this gives us a -2. So that would go here. That's our slope. Okay, so this is our equation. Okay, number 12, we're going to skip number 13. Write the equation in slope-intercept form of a line with a slope of, so our m is 4 and our y-intercept is our b, which represents our y-intercept is 5. Okay, so let me do that. This is number 12. So here we have y equals mx plus b. Our m is 4. Our b is +5. So that is our equation in slope-intercept form. All right, so your homework is page 178, 19 through 23. If you have any questions, send me a Schoology message. Okay, the template for this lesson was by Slides Carnival, and the curriculum was pulled from Springboard Algebra 1 book. Okay, bye.